hate it when people look at me when they're driving and I'm talking to them. I know that in normal circumstances it's polite to look at somebody when you're talking to them, but now when it's like less polite to kill me because you're looking at me.
That's true. I've always said that. Hello, and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about things that make them sound crazy. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hello, Hannah.
Hi, Ben.
Hello.
I just saw a fly.
I just saw you saw a fly.
I know. That's why I felt I should say something.
You either saw a fly or you gave Ben a weird wave.
How's everybody's week going?
Frickin' awesome.
I have to make a confession.
What's up, buddy?
I've listened to our Halloween special probably 3 or 4 times through.
How is that
really?
possible? It's so long. It took me 3 sit-downs to listen to the whole thing.
I still haven't yet. I haven't been able to block out the time yet.
I don't know. You know how I am with podcasts.
That's true.
What
keeps you coming back for more? What about it?
I really like the respectful dynamic. I have to make an apology to Molly right now, because at one point in the recording I was like, no offense to anybody who thinks otherwise, but I think people have an overblown sense of how they would do in a zombie apocalypse. And then I referenced The Walking Dead, and it really sounded like I was specifically going after Molly, but in such a way that I wouldn't say her name, in a very cowardly way. And that was not my intention.
Apology out to Molly.
Apology out. But to clarify a little bit on what my intention was, there's going to be statistically many thousands of people who, no matter how well they would do if they had prior warning, are caught so early in the process that it's just a numbers game. If you happen to be near when the outbreak starts, it doesn't matter if you do well with zombies. You might just be oh, I have to go control that child because I work at a museum and it's my job, or something like that. And then and then that child is infected, and then you're bit before you ever knew anything was wrong with the world. So that's all I was trying to say.
Gotcha. So you're
that's the scenario where I see Molly dying in a zombie apocalypse. I think if she knew what was going on, she would absolutely
Do you think she's a fool?
No.
I think she would see some zombie kid and be fooled by that?
I do. Well, yes, I do, because she's a realistic person who's not afraid of zombies.
Listen to me. I have been about to miss a flight with that woman, and let me tell you something. She is cutthroat. She literally passed old people who were also about to miss their flight because she was I'm not missing my damn flight. She's a ruthless survivalist. Okay.
I know. It doesn't do you any good if you don't know that there's something to survive yet.
Yeah.
If you're caught off guard, it doesn't matter.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you were saying in this scenario she wouldn't know about it yet.
Right.
But somebody,
if the outbreak happened.
But an outbreak would have happened at the museum, or it would have already happened, but the parents were like, well, we'll take the kid to the museum anyway, maybe it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right. They brought him there in a cage.
What's that scenario?
I feel like a museum is a pretty good spot for a Z-Poc to start.
Yeah.
What? Wait, you mean just it's reasonable for it to happen there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A lot of animals.
I thought you mean, maybe you didn't like people that lived in attended museums.
Oh my god. This is coming out wrong again.
She just hates you at this point.
It's a perfect place for a Z-Poc to start, because then Molly will get turned first. That's what Hannah meant to say.
No.
How was everyone's Halloween?
Oh, it was good. I have a story. Ben, how was yours?
It was good. I didn't do much. watch some Stranger Things.
It was a Tuesday.
I have a note about Stranger Things that y'all might not know being up in Massachusetts, so you might not be as in touch with this, but the Duffer Brothers, who created Stranger Things, are from Durham. So there are a shit ton of Durham references throughout season 1 and season 2 of Stranger Things. It feels like...
Really?
Yeah, it feels like our show. It's so great. It's so great. Yeah, like all of the street names are like Durham streets and the neighborhoods they mention. And like they're like Jordan Lake, Eno River. These are all like, those are things I live by the Eno River.
Wow.
That did sound familiar to me, actually. Did we walk like along it one time?
Yeah, we probably did.
Yeah.
So the show's for
Cool.
you
How
too.
How far are you in Stranger Things?
Oh,
Erin?
Not quite done season 2. And ready to fucking end anybody who spoils it for me. Just like, I will cut a bitch. I will.
Do you know that a lot of my friends are mad at my dad for doing exactly that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that.
I'm mad at him
I've
too,
only
actually.
seen the first episode, so I don't know what he's talking about, but I
don't remember what he said, and don't tell me.
Okay, I won't, but let me just tell Ben, when it comes...
Yeah.
When it comes up, you'll know.
And I'll be pissed
exactly what he was talking about, and you'll be pissed at Dad. Yes.
I don't want you to say any more of those things. I would also just like to say, I hope that people who spoil without giving a spoiler warning are the first to die in the Z-Pot. I just really do. I don't want them to die now, but in the Z-Pot, first people.
Wow. Have I told you guys how I feel about spoilers?
Negatively?
No, I don't. I don't care about them at all.
Oh.
For like anything, I don't really know why. It's just like for me, I'm also like the kind of person that can rewatch something a lot of times, and like that's essentially the equivalent of like spoiling the whole series or movie for yourself and then watching it again.
But what if it's one of those movies or shows that the spoiler like you can't watch it the same way if you know the secret?
I've never found something like that. Because like for me, like
Fight Club is one of them.
But see, for me, if I watch something that's like spoiled, like in that kind of vein, it's just like fascinating for me to watch it because it's like, how are they ever going to get to like this whatever's twist, you know? And so it's still just as entertaining to me in that sense.
You're just a really fucking good person. That's what
you're
it
just
is.
A generous spirit.
I'm like, I want them to die in the Z-Pack, and you're like, that's fine. I'm just like really interested. Still. Gonna reflect on myself.
Yeah, take some time.
Gonna try to be more like Ben. What would Ben do?
Can I tell you what I did for Halloween?
Yeah, I want to hear your story.
Okay. Well, it's not a great story, but...
You mentioned it like 14 times. You're gonna tell it. You're just gonna tell it.
We went to my parents' house for Halloween dinner because, you know, it was on a Tuesday and it was weird. We didn't do anything for Halloween. Actually, I spent all of Halloween weekend editing our Halloween special. And my brain's still mush from it.
Yeah.
But...
And then listening to it subsequently 5 times in a row.
Yeah, that's true. I am a weird person. Okay, so we went to my parents' house, and they made some stuff that I sent you guys pictures of, like a skull with prosciutto all over it, with olives for eyeballs, and they made deviled eggs, and they made brain jello shots, and drinks that had eyeballs in them.
Did they dress the deviled eggs up at all to be like horror stuff, or was it just deviled eggs were scary?
Devil!
Well, hang on. I actually had a suggestion for that, which they didn't use because it was just too late. They had already written out the menu, but I thought they could have called them bedeviled eggs, like they're possessed.
Is bedeviled?
Nothing?
I mean,
is that like bejeweled?
You've never heard the word bedeviled?
Or bedazzled?
Is it a real word?
Are you thinking of bedazzled?
No, it's a real word. It's like if you were to stick little devil things, evil things on your body instead of jewels.
That's not a word.
Yes, it is. I'm Googling it right now.
Bedeviled.
It's an old-timey word.
My Hannah, I love your bedeviled shawl.
It's a movie.
It's an
bedeviled.
It's an old-timey word from back in the day when they used to sew little devils on their clothing.
No, that was a joke.
Oh.
Hang on. Definition. It just means like possessed, basically, or like evil. It says of something bad, cause great and continual trouble to, of a person, torment or harass. So like you can say he bedeviled them with petty practical jokes, or like inconsistencies that bedevil modern English spelling. Those are some sentences people would use.
I hate to break this to you. They weren't like, oh, we've already written the menus. We can't take your suggestion. Oh, bummer.
No, but the other thing I was going to say is they colored the eggs on the outside so it looked like they had like spider webs kind of. Like, you know, when you crack an egg and you...
Oh, okay.
So that was cool. And Mom did tarot readings for everybody.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah, I had no idea that she even had tarot cards, let alone books about them.
She does? Has she always had these?
Apparently, I guess she and one of their college friends used to be really into it and like do each other's readings all the time.
What? That seems so unlike Mom.
I know, I was really surprised. And she was really into it. Like, she did Julie's and then she did mine and then she did Ian's. And they were all really different.
Oh, cool.
Like, yeah, it was cool.
That sounds
So I've never had
terrifying.
And then we were going to watch a scary movie, but then we didn't. That was it.
That was kind of my Halloween. We were going to watch a scary movie and then we didn't. Those were my exact plans. That's my exact evening.
That's cool.
Yeah. So fun.
I have one more thing that I wanted to put out there before we go on to our segments.
Put it on out here.
Okay. I mentioned it already in Slack, so you guys know, but there's a section of audio I'm going to hopefully drop in around here that is a joke that Kylie made that none of us gave any credit to, and it was just extremely funny. And like she delivered it in like a really deadpan way, and everybody was already like moving on to the next thing, and there were so many of us, but like it made me laugh so hard. And I'm just gonna play it right now, and everybody's gonna laugh about it.
That's a direct order.
And he wakes up in the hospital naked for some reason. I don't get why he was just randomly naked in the hospital.
You
see his whole dick right at the start.
Yeah.
You gotta get raw at the start. Gotta get in dirty.
What other beginning segments do we do? Homework, corrections. I don't have any of either.
Oh, inside jokes.
Okay. Should I do this one, or do you want to take this one, Hannah?
No, go ahead.
Okay, help me fill this in.
You're a great storyteller. Okay.
Oh, thanks. So, this one came about, so for the past 2 years, Hannah and I, and Ian went last year, and our good friend Sarah go to Savannah, Georgia for the St. Patrick's Day parade. St. Patrick's Day is my birthday. It's a fun time. And the first year we went, we stopped. So what happened was Hannah came down from Massachusetts to North Carolina, and then I drove down to Charleston to pick our friend Sarah up. And on our way,
went with her,
and Hannah went with us.
Yeah.
Right, we left Hannah in Durham, and then I went down, and then we were like, "We'll see you after our trip. Have fun." So on our way to Savannah from Charleston, we stopped by Bojangles to get a delicious chicken biscuit. God, those are so tasty. Which is like
good.
My traditional road trip food. And I don't know what was going on, but there was a big holdup at the Bojangles. Yeah. And so, I don't know who said it first. It was probably me. But I was like, what is going on at the Bojangles? And so that's just what we say now about anything. When something is going on, we're just wondering what's going on at the Bojangles.
Know what's going on. Right.
Or you don't know what's going on.
Basically, any time that you would say what's going on.
Yeah.
You can say
at the Bojangles.
Yeah, and it makes it better.
What's going on at the Bojangles?
What is going on at the Bojangles? It was a real long time, y'all. It was like we were anxious to get going.
Did you ever find out what was
do.
going on at the Bojangles?
No.
Wow.
No.
So it's
of course
still a
not.
mystery.
Well,
Yeah, that's why we keep
Yeah.
asking it.
they were probably making a fresh batch of chicken. I mean, honestly, but there was quite the hold up. The Bojangles.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah. So
It was just sitting in a car, but
you can use that now.
yeah, everybody.
Everybody, move your feet and feel united.
We gift that to you. Okay. My terminology, and I don't have one.
No,
If
you did
guys
have one. You had one where you were going to save it for Thanksgiving.
I'll save it.
Okay.
And it's also dumb, but I'll save it.
Oh man, I would have come up with one.
It's all right.
The one that you put in Slack.
Yeah, I know, but I have another one.
Okay, cool.
I don't think it's gonna stick, but it made me laugh so much.
Well, that's the point.
I know. I was telling Ian to shut his butt the other day. I was like, "Shut your butt."
Was he
You know,
farting a lot, or was it just instead of face? Were you subbing the word face for butt?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So
I do that sometimes.
He was like feigning ignorance too. He was like, "Oh, what do you mean? My butt's shut." And then I was like, "No, you're the one that's right there on your face, your butt face or whatever." And then he goes, "Oh, you mean my pre-butt?"
Is that your pre-butt? I feel like there's a lot more. I guess it's the Prius butt there is, but there's like more that I would call like your direct pre-butt. You know, sometimes you call your front parts your front bottom. You know?
Yeah. Yep. So then, what would you call your? I don't. What would you call your pre-butt?
Maybe like your
Your front bottom.
Your taint would be your pre-butt. Just spitballing here.
That's one way to look at it. I think that's why it won't catch on, because
Yeah.
any word that could either mean taint or mouth is not like a keeper.
It's got to be a hard line.
Yeah. So Ben, you were up first today.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Mine is a video game that came out last Friday, and it is the newest Mario game. It's for the Switch.
It's me! I didn't
I
didn't even know about that!
That's why I said, "Oh my god," after you did that, because I was like, "She's fucking clairvoyant." I don't think it's actually on the recording, so we should explain that before we started recording.
Oh, I think
Erin
it is.
said- Oh, is
I
it?
don't remember.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, Erin said that's a new Mario.
I didn't say. I was like, it's me!
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's super good, and it's really exciting because like the Switch is a really great system. It's Nintendo's new system, but they haven't released many games for it yet. Really, for a while, like the only really good game was the new Zelda game, and now they have like a second one. So they've got like the big two Nintendo series for the new console, and it is so good. It's beautiful. Like every level is really colorful, and like the style of every level is completely different, which is like really exciting. And they introduced this new mechanic in this game where you can throw your hat as Mario and like possess some stuff, which sounds weird, but like it fits into the game. Or like you can like possess a Goomba
weird.
and like walk around as a Goomba.
Oh, that's fun.
And there are like 50 of these different things that you can capture and do a whole bunch of different stuff with, so that it like adds, I don't know, they're just so good at like, because when you get down to it, Mario games are just like jumping on platforms to different places, but like they do an amazing job of adding a whole bunch of depth through like mechanics like that.
What are the implications of that? Is that implying that Mario's essence, Mario's being, lives in his hat? Like, where is
Well,
Mario's body
okay.
when he's a Goomba? Is it like lying lifeless on the
I
ground?
was going to ask exactly that question.
This-
Like, what happens to Mario's body?
Okay, the story of it is that it's not actually like his normal hat. It's this. The game starts in this place called the Cap Kingdom, which is like a bunch of these ghost-like creatures that like are hats. And
But they're also ghosts.
I don't know, like in the game they look like a ghost whose face and most of their body is covered by a hat.
Ben, I don't know how many times I have to tell you that ghosts aren't real.
Hats are though.
That's true. Touche. Touche.
So when you throw it, I don't know how the science works, but like basically Mario's, it looks like he becomes like a little thing of light and then jumps into the hat. Like his body goes away and he gets like sucked into it kind of. And then like any of the things he capture like grow a mustache also, so they look like Mario versions of the thing he captures. It's really funny.
Maybe there's a special hat dimension inside the hat.
I don't know, the hat can do a lot of stuff.
I'm just spitballing. I'm not a scientist either.
Deep thoughts with Hannah. Man, I have
I've heard-
such like.
Go ahead.
You go.
Your face is like dropped. All I was gonna say is I've heard a lot of really good things about that game.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really, really good. The music is amazing too. The main theme is called I think it's called Jump Up Superstar. You should find it on YouTube and listen to it because it's really good. It's like a big band style jazzy song.
Oh.
Cool.
Oh, and then one of the main... Sorry, can I say one more
No,
thing?
you
real
go.
quick?
I'm so sorry. I keep trying to. Sorry.
One of the main kingdoms is this place called the Metro Kingdom, and the city there is called New Donk City, which is funny anyway, but the...
New Donk?
New Donk City. And the mayor of the city is a woman, which is cool.
That's cool.
I like when things like that happen in games and stuff.
Some diversity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just gonna say this whole time that I just have really nostalgic feels from like Mario when Mario 64 came out. Mm-hmm. You know,
Yeah.
I just used to play that like all the time. So I'd be interested. My brother has a Switch, and my dad does too. I think maybe they have one together. But I'll be looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, it feels a lot like I played all the 3D Marios from Super Mario 64 up to this one, and they've just like all been super, super good. And this one feels in a lot of ways like, to me at least, like the old one, like the Super Mario 64. And I know that in one of the kingdoms you go to, it's almost like a recreation of the Peach's Castle from the original game, which is cool. But like
I just
HD
love that
and
game.
stuff. Yeah.
Wish I could play that. Wish I could get my hands on a. I guess I would get.
64.
Yeah, or like some sort of simulation or something.
Mm-hmm.
You could get a Switch.
Good. I thought about that at a couple tech conferences I've been to recently. They've had them as a giveaway. I was like, that'd be something I'd really love to win.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know that
We just
feeling?
like bought one night. Actually, the same day that Ben bought one.
Oh,
We were
really?
jealous, so
Yeah.
we bought one.
Oh,
too.
I thought that you like didn't know.
No, they
No,
bought it
we
because of
knew.
us.
Yeah.
How much
Because
are they?
They were really hard to find
Is that a
for a
personal
while.
question?
Yeah.
What?
I was wondering how much they were, and then I was wondering if that was a personal question.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
300, right?
Yeah, but the crazy thing was the reason we bought it when we did was that for a long time after they first came out, you couldn't get them. You couldn't even find them online anymore for any less than like maybe like $340. Like they were like upcharging because they were really like rare online, and so we kind of just were like, well, we'll just wait it out or whatever. And then Ben turned up like around his birthday just with like a Switch that he had bought at Target, like in my town, the one that's like 5 minutes from my house. And I was like, oh, but yeah, at like our local Target, they had plenty of them.
Oh, cool.
And they just like and they were just like regular price, and you could not find it online anywhere for like it's just regular price.
Yeah, interesting.
And actually, on that day, we only went to Target because we originally pre-ordered one from like GameStop that was going to be there like a few weeks later. But then our friend like sent us a Snapchat of him buying a Switch at Target, and we were like, "Oh, I guess Target has them." And we checked the Target on the way to the Cape, and then they had like a bunch.
Shout out to Target.
Shout out to Target. Love that place.
Yeah.
Except, like, they might as well just like take $100 at the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do. Except I couldn't find a shirt there today.
Fuck them then. Shout back. I'm taking that shout back.
Unstout.
Just wanted a new shirt for a fresh style.
That's all I wanted. It didn't seem like much.
It's not a lot to ask.
That's cool, Ben. When did you get the game?
I think I got it on Friday. I got it this weekend at some point. And I was playing it right up until we started recording, and my Switch is sitting next to me.
Ready to pick up the moment we hit stop.
That's right.
How does that incorporate into you being very busy at school?
Good question.
What do you mean?
Thank you. Like, how do you not just be like, fuck my schoolwork? It's me, Mario.
I don't know.
Oh.
I just do. Know what I'm saying?
But you're not like ruining your life. You're like,
no.
Seem pretty balanced. Cool. Shout in to Ben.
Yeah, Ben has always been just like so good at managing his time that it makes everybody else, especially his older siblings, look bad. Like, I almost like failed out of school because I just like chain smoked too much, and Ben is like
relatable.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
it's
great,
relatable
Devin.
to somebody. Yeah. Good
segment.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to telling my brother to buy that game and then playing it.
Hell yeah. Which brother is the one that has the Switch?
Dominic.
Nice.
Yeah, it wouldn't help
little
her
brother.
too much if Maddie had it.
That's right.
That's true.
My big brother lives in DC.
Yeah.
So.
Shout out to brothers.
What up, brothers? Not that I think any of them listen in.
knows?
Why not?
Who knows? I don't know. Why wouldn't you listen to this? This is good shit right here.
I should change our tagline to "Why wouldn't you listen to this?" I just realized I didn't finish changing the numbering on the outline this week, so it says Obsession 1 Ben, Obsession 3 Hannah, Obsession 1 Erin. Oops.
Oh well.
We get it.
So you are next, Hannah.
I'm next.
Hannah.
What up, H bro?
I was not sure what I was going to do until I got home. I have some thoughts about Stranger Things, but after learning what I have learned about where everybody is in Stranger Things, and this isn't like I had to change plans, like, you know, since we've started recording, I figured this would happen. So I'm not bringing Stranger Things to the table this week. I do want to eventually. But then I got home and Ian had just received this package from Amazon that was filled with I don't know why I'm making this sound so complicated.
It's like, what's it about? Hey, are you like allowed to talk about this on Snack?
Yeah, Ian had just received some Google Cardboard in the mail from Amazon.
Oh.
You know what Google Cardboard is?
Yeah,
it's like virtual reality.
Is that free?
No, but it's cheap. It's like $10 or something.
Gotcha.
Because there's like there's plastic in it. Like there's some. It's not all cardboard.
Gotcha. And you like slide your little phone into it, right?
Yeah.
Slide your little phone
right in there. So I've only played with it for like a few minutes, but it's like the fucking coolest thing.
For real?
That makes you look like the biggest idiot. Like, I don't know if you guys have done any VR stuff.
Yeah, Kylie's internship this summer, she developed a VR thing like all summer.
Oh, really?
Her last weekend, she got to bring home an Oculus.
Oh.
And she let me play with it, and it was super fucking cool. My favorite thing was like flying around on Google Earth.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you can do that with cardboard. I was playing around with that. The only thing is that like I haven't figured out navigating quite yet, so I can like hover over Chicago, then go to space, then go back to Chicago. And I can look around from one spot, but I can't like move anywhere, so I gotta figure that out.
Look
But
around.
It looks
look
like
around.
just for anyone who
How
hasn't
lucky
seen
we are to be alive right now.
Exactly.
Does it have controllers with it or anything?
No.
Okay.
So for anybody
You
who
just
hasn't
slide your
seen
little phone into it, Ben.
you just slide your little phone into it. It basically looks like a cardboard viewfinder, essentially. That's what it reminds me of.
Viewfinder.
You know what a viewfinder is?
What's a viewfinder?
Look it up. Google it right now. Google images.
Okay, hold on. Don't tell me what to do. Okay, hold on.
Earlier this week I asked Erin and Ben to wish me luck on something, and Erin was like, "Good luck, but don't tell me what to do."
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You see them?
Yep. Where you put your little slides into it.
Yeah, it's the thing. You put your little slides into it, and then you put your little eyes in the little holes, and then. But it doesn't. It never worked right for people who wear glasses. But that's a total sidetrack.
That's a separate tirade.
It's a separate issue. That's a different rant for a different day. Also, 3D glasses. Like, what the fuck? Just, like, do something about 3D glasses. I'll never enjoy a 3D movie in my life.
How about
It's
fucking
never
contacts,
worth it.
Hannah? Not to victim blame up in here.
Contacts suck, and I hate them.
Whoa.
They're amazing. They're the most incredible. They're the most incredible invention since antibiotics and dishwashers.
No.
Dickwashers.
Dickwashers.
I have no need for dickwashers, sir. Well,
Gotcha. No.
Shit.
withdrawn.
So, it looks kind of like a cardboard viewfinder, except it works if you're wearing glasses, fortunately. And you stick your little phone in the front of it. You have to you have to download an app, and the first thing that it does is it puts you in this like really like graphically very unimpressive, but it's super exciting, like just, you know, space. It's like an Arctic landscape, and there's this white fox right in front of you, and you can like look at it, and you can look around, and there's like ocean, and there's a whale over there, and then
over where?
over there.
Oh,
Right. And then before you know it, you're like standing in your kitchen just screaming about seagulls and just like trying not to run into things, and it's so fun. I didn't catch any fish, but yeah, so I had great fun with that, and I'm really looking forward to playing with it more / getting my own.
just another manic Monday.
Why do you do that? It's just like takes one to know one. It's not Monday.
No, because you're like, next thing you know, I don't know, because I thought it would be funny.
When the part of the podcast that I have re-listened to, the Halloween one, I got to that part where Erin says take one to know one, and I forgot like how little sense it made in context.
It like almost works. They're like edge jokes. They're like, if you really apply yourself, you can figure it out. I'm sorry. I will never talk again.
No, like, you gotta make bad jokes to make good jokes.
That's
Erin.
right. That's
you
what
taught me that.
That's what. That's right.
That sounded like a dig.
That sounds exciting. I didn't know that you could just get one. Okay, I have a question. Do you have to get one specific to your little phone size? Or is it like any little phone fits all? One size fits any little phone.
Oh my god.
It's not specific to your phone size as far as I can tell.
Well, it has to be little.
Yeah, it has to be a little phone.
I literally have a little phone, so.
There's a thing on the outside of it, and you take your phone and you scan the thing on the outside of the device, and they call that pairing it with it. And somehow when you do that, it like knows what kind of phone you have, and it helps you.
Fuck.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if your phone is maybe too little. Do you have like an old iPhone?
I have an iPhone 5. But
Let's compare.
I'm about to upgrade to an iPhone 5 SE, which is the iPhone 5 with the 6 hardware.
Oh.
What? Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. Hold your phone up to the screen.
They look about the same size.
That was a visual gag on our podcast.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
We tried to compare phone sizes using our cameras from 2 different states. That was the joke.
That was the joke. I want to return to something you said earlier, Hannah.
Okay.
Which was like, it's the coolest thing you can do while looking like a big nerd. Or I don't remember what you said. It's the coolest thing you can do. And I was like, what else falls into that category?
Because if that makes you look like an idiot.
The coolest thing you can do that makes you look like an idiot. And I was like, that's clearly an entire category. What else? What other activities fall into that category?
Huh.
Oh, winning a spelling bee. But no, that's not an idiot. That's like a nerd.
That's a nerd.
That's a nerd.
Fucking nerds.
What about, like, if you were saving invisible kittens?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Because you would look stupid, because people wouldn't know what you were doing.
That could be like a thing you could do maybe on your Google Cardboard.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
I thought the Google Cardboard was a, you know how every year they have their April Fool's jokes?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was one of them.
No. It's real.
Yeah. I know that now.
November Fools.
What's a cool thing that makes you look like an idiot? Well, like, hands-free headsets.
Yes.
Are those cool?
They're cool to use.
Yeah. Feel kind of futuristic.
Like, I never get used to... Well, that's a lie. I'm very used to it. But, like, walking through grocery stores with my, like, microphone headset in and, like, having conversations and just, like... I used to be like, I look crazy, but now I'm like, everybody looks crazy.
I have a good... Oh, sorry.
No, go.
I have a good one. Being really, really good at Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Ooh.
Because you're just, like, marching in place. Very, very, very fast and very determinedly.
Yep. Can I
What were you gonna say,
something
Ben?
about talking on the phone?
Yeah.
Speaking of, like, people talking on the phone, like, walking down the street in stores and stuff, is it, like, have you guys found it common that, like, you're walking on the sidewalk and you see people walking down the street talking on speakerphone?
Yes.
I have seen that.
Because people do it all the time in the city. And I find it so fucking weird. I can't understand why you do it.
More weird to me, that's pretty fucking weird. Maybe it's not more weird, but on a similar plane, people walking down the street listening to music from their speakers.
Yes.
I'm like, what is your motivation?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the worst is, like, I was walking down the street the other day, and there was someone who had, like, a Bluetooth speaker with him listening to music, and I was like, you thought ahead to bring a speaker, but you didn't bring headphones.
Bring your headphones. Maybe they're the glasses of the contacts world, you know? Maybe they're like, headphones are the worst and I hate them. So maybe it's like speakers are to glasses as contacts are to headphones.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, I have two thoughts on this. One is that if someone I can imagine someone who's afraid of brain tumors taking a call on speakerphone if they like left their Bluetooth thing at home or their headphones at home or whatever. My second thing is, in that same scenario, if you left your headphones at home, I've certainly had the feeling of like, I actually have three things. I've certainly had the feeling of like, I wish that I could listen to music right now, but it would be obnoxious for people, and maybe some people just push through that and do it anyway. But then I was thinking, why is there not a way to listen, if you're not afraid of brain tumors, why is there not a way to just listen to music through your headset on your phone? If you really are desperate, why can't you just hold your phone up to your head and listen to music? That seems like it should be possible, right?
That's a really good point, and that would be a better way to like pretend to take a call when you're trying to get out of something.
That's true.
Did you guys ever hear of Call Notes?
Yes, but wait, there was a third thing. What was my third thing?
I thought that was three things.
No, there was another one.
You thought
Call Notes. No, go on. Maybe it'll come back to me. But Call Notes is good if all you ever want to listen to is Hall & Oates music.
Also,
then that would serve
it was discontinued like a few years ago.
Damn it!
What is that?
It was a phone number you could call that would play Hall & Oates music.
Oh. I love that so much.
I think it existed mostly for the pun.
Yes, I appreciate that. You might not be surprised to hear that, but I fucking love that.
Yeah.
I am 100% for that. In fact, I have a theory that, like, things that have, like, products that have a pun name or, like, a portmanteau or concepts that are a portmanteau do better and exist in the world because of the pun or portmanteau. I just, like, love that. I want to, like, give my money to people who are doing things like that. Like Call Notes. Thank you. You're real American heroes.
I remembered my third thing. I was thinking the other day about how, like, because I listen to so many podcasts, so many ear snacks that are totally actually like inappropriate. Like, I listen to so many ear snacks that it would be mortifying if any given like 30 seconds of them were broadcast to like whoever I was near while I was listening to them. That, like, I was thinking about, like, what if we lived in a world where headphones were never invented? Like, would people's creativity be stifled, or would everybody just be more open and honest about the kind of schlock that they enjoy listening to? Like, it's not schlock, it's not bad, but, like, it's not appropriate. Like any Comedy Bang Bang that I'm ever listening to at work, like, they'll be like singing songs about, like, whatever, like dicks and stuff, and I'm like sitting next to some like walking around my office just like giggling about it.
Do you listen to the Risk podcast?
No, you've mentioned it before. I might be subscribed. I don't know if I've listened to it.
It's like a no rules storytelling, and they tend to get, it's like stories you won't hear on NPR or The Moth. It's like storytelling, but like encouraging you to tell things you never thought you'd dare to share, which is, I have those same thoughts. Like, I always like turn my volume down because there are some like runchy stories. And I'm always like, oh, I don't want anybody to overhear this. Like, there's like not a clean 2-second clip in that podcast. made me
That would
think
be
of
weird
that.
if people. I guess maybe that would be weirder than listening to music walking down the street on speaker. Would be listening to a podcast walking down the street on speaker.
Where I fall on the listening on the speaker thing, I'm torn between like you do you boo sort of thing and like like minorly horrified because I'm like too considerate to do that, you know? But I'm also like, why not? Like it affects me for like 2 seconds and then it's done, you know? I'm torn.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. The worst people that on the T who play music through their phones.
That's inconsiderate, straight up.
That's definitely inconsiderate.
There was one guy who brought like a guitar on and was just playing it and just like he just so clearly wanted people to talk to him about the fact that he had a tiny guitar that he was playing.
Oh no.
And it was just like really irritating.
Don't ever talk to anybody about their guitars.
Yeah.
Don't. It's a public service announcement.
And then when he got off, the girl that was standing next to me was like, that guy was the fucking worst. We just had like a bonding moment with a stranger on the T.
It's just like, it takes up a lot of space and you just, like, be considerate about where you're taking up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Right.
It was crowded too.
Yeah.
Including sonic space.
Well, that's what I meant. I meant, you know, the proverbial space.
So that's mine.
I honestly forget what it was.
Google Cardboard.
Oh, I thought that was a tangent based on
No.
from your actual obsession for some reason. I honestly thought while we were talking about the cardboard for so long that we've been on a tangent, and I was like, I kept trying to think, what was Hannah's obsession
Hannah,
again?
what's
I could
your
not
obsession?
remember.
Oh, because I mentioned Stranger Things first. But
Oh, yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
yeah, but I said I'm not going to do that for everybody else.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't listening well enough.
It's not okay. Hey, I wanted
Unforgiven.
to mention, did you guys know this is episode 10?
Woo, woo, woo,
Yeah,
wee.
we're in double digits for the
Oh,
first
do
time.
your air horn noise, Ben. I was wondering, as he was doing that noise before you joined us, Hannah, what the origin stories of that. What's the
The air horn
origin
noise?
story? Yeah.
Sir.
Where's that come from?
I don't know, Ben.
I don't
Doesn't
know. I
know.
just do it.
Do it again.
I'm just a channel.
You have a gift. You have a gift.
Your voice cracked at the
Yeah, I
I've never
know.
heard an or horn crack.
At the
like
first of blah.
Oh my god,
Oh, God. Alright, so I'll let you guys know how it goes with the Google Cardboard. It's all very fresh right now.
Keep us updated.
I will. So it's back to Obsession 1, Erin Brown.
Good old
I
1-2-1.
I have a weird one for y'all this week.
Okay.
So I was recently given. I recently came into possession of a sourdough starter that I have been mildly obsessed with. So that's my obsession this week. Sourdough starter. So I got one from a friend who got it from her friend's mom, who it's been in her family for a while. And so I have made some bread with it a couple times. The thing about the sourdough starter I have.
Wait, can you pause for a second?
Yeah.
What is a sourdough starter, and how does it work?
Where's your
That's a good place to start. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so wild yeast live everywhere. They live in flour. They live in the air. Okay, and so a sourdough starter is basically like a medium where those wild yeast. And again, I'm just a beginner, so if I say something amiss, please forgive me, dear listeners. It's when these wild yeast can get trapped somewhere and flourish. And so it's like sourdough bread is made from sourdough starter, and that like tangy taste is the taste of all of this wild yeast given chances, I believe, to ferment and just like get nasty with each other. So some interesting stuff. I realized I don't know how it's different. This I don't know. The kind that I have seems to be different than most of the ones that I've been reading about online. So online, I'm reading about how to make a sourdough starter, and what you do is that there's, wild yeast everywhere. There's yeast living in your house. But especially there's yeast living in your crotch. And so what you do is you put some flour in your crotch and you don't pee for 5 days, and then shaboom, is an old wives' tale method of making. So a way that you can make it is like put water and flour together and let it like sit around for like 5 days, and it'll start to like, all the yeast will start to like bubble and stuff. The one that I have, I feed like every 3 to 5 days with potato flakes and sugar. And the thing about it is that I've made some good bread, and I've made what I refer to as my learning loaf, which was not super. But I've made the bread I've made, it definitely, so I use the sourdough starter in lieu of yeast. So if you look up how to make bread, it usually has you buy active yeast at the store, add it to warm water, and mix it in with your stuff, and that is the rising agent. So instead of the yeast, this is the sourdough starter is the rising agent, and so it works beautifully for that. But the bread I've been making has not been super sour. It hasn't had that like sourdough taste. So I've been having a lot of fun with my sourdough starter and like reading about sourdough starters online, and I've been thinking about making my own flour-based one. I don't know if that's the correct term. But a cool thing I learned is that your kitchen can be like, I think it's referred to as like inoculated with these like wild yeast spores. So like a bakery, for instance, has just like a shit ton of yeast spores in the air. So it's a great environment for making these kind of like sourdough starters. And so like if your kitchen is like inoculated, you can just like put out some like flour and water and milk is a recipe that I read, one of them that I read. And like in a couple days or hours, you'll have like some action just from like the fucking air.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's some pretty crazy science. So I'm going to try to make my own one from flour and water, which takes like 5 days. So I might just do like a check-in next episode.
Erin, did you know that sourdough bread is my favorite kind of bread?
Hannah, I didn't know that. My personal mission is going to be to perfect my shit before Thanksgiving and bake you a loaf.
Yes, thank you.
A non-learning loaf.
I thought you'd never offer. Because I didn't know you made bread until today.
Well, I've only made 2. Well, I've made 4, but only the first batch turned into like 3.
What?
Loaves. 3 like breads.
Only the first batch turned into 3.
The first,
and then there was your learning loaf.
Yeah. The first batch of dough I made was split and turned into 3 breads.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the second loaf I made was my learning loaf.
I see. Now, was it underbaked or what was going on with it? Overproved?
Is this Great British Bake Off?
All of the above. Here's what it is. If I have to give my like Paul Hollywood assessment of my learning loaf, here's how it goes. Here's the story. I got a little cocky. And so I had my little sourdough starter. And I read a recipe I read a recipe in a different book about how to make a sourdough loaf. And it called for a certain amount of starter. So I put that amount of starter in that recipe, and then it was very soupy. And I was like, that's weird. But maybe it's supposed to be like that. And so then I let it prove for 12 hours. And it was still soup. It was just bubbly soup at that point. But in the middle of the night, I let it prove overnight. In the middle of the night, I awoke from my slumber. I sat straight up in bed. I didn't, but I did awake from my slumber. And I was like, oh, their sourdough starter probably had a lot of flour in it. And mine is just basically a liquid. And that's why it was soupy. And then I laid back down and went to sleep. So then in the morning, I added more flour. And then I let it rise all day. So at this point, we're a full day beyond what it's supposed to be, its lifespan. It should have been baked by now. And then I baked it. Well, it was actually pretty dense. So I underproofed. I let it proof for 12 hours, but it was a pudding. Okay, and then I let it...
The proof was in the pudding.
It literally was. The proof literally was in the pudding.
But
That's
it
so
needed
good.
to be in the bread, but it was in the pudding.
It needed to be in the dough. So then I let it rise. Let it rise, but then I kneaded it again. Kneaded. And... And then,
that's what you meant.
Then I should have let it rise again. So it was dense. And then, wait, I'm not done. It was my learning loaf. Then I completely forgot to add salt. And then I underbaked it a touch. I'm bad at accents. I underbaked it a touch. I can't do accents.
Can you to bite?
Yeah, that's exactly. And then, and then I forgot. So, but I ate it. You know what? If you cut it hot and just absolutely doused it in butter, it was delicious.
It's still bread.
It's
I don't
bread.
know what Paul
Bread's
Hollywood's
good.
problem is. Bread is delicious. I've never met a bread I didn't like.
Oh,
That was week when Dad made, or it was a month where Dad made bread every day.
Yes, it was the best time of my
It was
life.
pretty great. It was all good bread too.
wow. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
You should ask him. He's made a bunch of bread.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll reach out to you now with some tips.
Cool. Well, has he done a sourdough?
I don't know.
I feel like he has.
Cool.
I also feel like because of all the stuff you were saying about yeast being everywhere, I feel like there are some parts of the country that I've heard are better for making sourdough bread than others. Like San Francisco is the most famous one.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Why is there so much yeast in San Francisco?
It's just the right kind of yeast, or it might be where sourdough bread originated. Maybe. But yeah, you could look into that too. Maybe you could take a trip out to get your starter right.
That's true, but another thing I read is that once I bring it back home, it'll become North Carolina sourdough because it changes over time. And the yeasts from the air, my wild yeasts, we'll get into it. And so the flavor can evolve over time. It's so cool. And my wife...
book called All My Wild Yeast about your journey from learning loaf to sourdough bread master.
Yeah.
I couldn't have imagined this in my wildest yeasts. Molly is curating she's not curating, she's organizing a kind of a class at a local bakery that's going to be all about sourdough. So I'm going to try to take it in February.
Cool.
That's cool.
You know, I almost had a bread obsession a couple weeks ago.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, but it wasn't anything to do with making bread. It was just I found a kind of bread that I really liked, and I decided
eating bread a couple weeks ago.
I decided
Well,
there was
in
not
that
enough
case,
to
my
talk
obsession
about.
this week was eating Halloween candy.
Oh, me too. Oh my god. And people bring it into the office like that's okay.
It is okay.
It's more than okay.
It's not okay.
Have you guys ever had challah bread?
Challah. Yeah.
I had
That
almost...
was what I was almost talked about, because I found Trader Joe's challah bread is really, really good.
There's a local place that makes really tasty challah, and we'll make French toast out of it sometimes.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It's a fucking pro tip right there.
Oh, actually, there's a awesome restaurant in Boston called, it's also a bookstore called Trident, and they make challah French toast also, I think.
Oh, yeah.
You
And they have
love
another
Trident.
Do you not?
No, I do. But you talk about it a lot.
I like
really
the
good.
gum.
No, the reason that people can't let me eat Halloween candy anymore is that I ate basically nothing but candy and cheese on Halloween.
Doing it right.
Mom and Dad got my favorite goat Gouda, and they had like a cheese platter, and I
They
ate
make
the like
goat Gouda?
yeah, it's
yeah.
so good,
Oh, that sounds good.
and I ate like probably 2/3 of the entire wedge of it, and then I didn't poop again until like today.
That's a harrowing
I-
tale.
But broccoli, broccoli's great.
I'm uncomfortable with this thread.
It's a lifesaver. I'm just saying, like, just keep it in mind. It's really good for you, and it's got a lot of fiber.
I did have broccoli this week, as a matter of fact.
I'm having so much broccoli these days. I'm having broccoli most days for lunch. Mostly just broccoli. I love it.
It's nice. It's really nice. You know what I did is I like to steam it and then give it a quick saute with olive oil and a pinch of red pepper flake. That's nice.
That's
nice.
What is that?
What?
That I have in my head, like, Erin going, "That's nice."
That's
Well,
what
she
we
says
say
it
to
to
our
Henry.
dog, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
nice. That's what we say to Henry. I have a hilarious thing. I'm so glad we brought Henry up. This is so funny. I'm so glad that we brought this up. Molly bought a Roomba this week, and you know what I'm talking about. The little vacuum cleaner that scoots all around. So she bought a Roomba and was researching about how to acclimate your dog to the Roomba so that the dog doesn't like break the Roomba, attack it and be ferocious. And so what you do is you scold the Roomba in front of your dog. You make sure your dog's looking, and then you sternly scold the inanimate robot vacuum. And we did this yesterday. It was hilarious. Sometimes I have moments in my little life with Molly where I'm like, if a stranger were to kind of peek in the window, they'd be like, what the fuck is going on? And this was one of them where Molly and I are crouching over a little robot, and he just yelling it, just ripping it to shreds. And Henry is like standing behind us, like wagging with the joy that only the sibling who's not being scolded can feel.
That's amazing.
It was awesome. And so I think it worked. Like, he was definitely uncertain about it and like excited by it. And he barked at it once, and then we ran into the room and just tore it a new one. And then he was like fine with it again.
That's so good.
Have you
Yeah.
only had to do it once, or have you done it multiple times?
We just did it a lot yesterday.
That is like that Roomba will remember that when the singularity comes, though. So you gotta look out for that.
That's true. I'll keep that in mind. I'll be like, it was just the internet told us to. I'm sorry.
He's gonna be like, "That's my friend, the internet. I don't believe you." So thanks everybody. Or is there anything else that you guys wanted to bring up that you haven't? Final words.
Your face like dared us to bring anything else up. Your voice was saying let's go, but your face was saying no.
No, that's okay. Wait, that's Christina, right? So, what's everybody's homework? Ben.
Get a Switch.
One.
Check.
Get a Switch.
Honestly,
Wait. Oh, the console? Never mind.
honestly, if you were even considering getting a Switch, but you were like, oh, there aren't enough games yet or something, just Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey are enough, I think, to justify it. It's a really, really good system, and Super Mario Odyssey is super good. And also there's like going to be more games coming out for it. Stardew Valley just came out on the Switch.
Yeah, we have
That's
that.
another really good game. I haven't gotten it yet.
I have it.
Get a Switch, play Super Mario Odyssey. If
Do you have it?
I have it.
Did you get it?
Yes. I just said that 3 times.
Yeah, okay.
I can't see Ben's face, and I don't know if he's joking or not.
He was joking because
I
you
was
said it 3
definitely joking.
times.
You said it a bunch. How could I not have been joking?
Because you're bad at listening.
Wow.
You're bad at saying things only once.
Ben,
Yeah.
what's your fucking Twitter?
Oh,
Jerk.
that's the thing that you're waiting for. It's at @NEDiscoGreg. Follow for daily pictures and videos of my cat.
It's worth
Hello.
it.
It's so
It's
good.
great. The latest one is him attacking my girlfriend in a really cute way. Because sometimes he's vicious when he gets playful.
That's cats for you.
Yeah.
The I like the one where he nuzzles your face. That was from
the
today.
best.
That was so cute.
yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, this whole week lately when I get home, he's like, we have this routine where he's sleeping on the couch and I sit down, he runs, like jumps over and sleeps on my lap for a bit. It's great. I love it.
Oh.
And
That's
the other day he added face nuzzles to it.
Oh. My homework is get a Google Cardboard. If you have a little phone, get get Google Cardboard. You can get it on Amazon or other places. If you have a little smartphone, it needs to be a little smartphone.
Put your little phone into it.
Put your little phone into it, and then you can play with lots of cool animals. And there's whales over there and lots of good stuff.
Look over there. Where?
And my Twitter is Anthropology, like anthropology
Here we go.
with the H at the beginning of it.
But the science, not the store.
Call a response now. Yeah. So it ends with a Y. And then, Erin, you go next, and then I'll tell the ear snack stuff.
Okay, but first I wanted to mention that Ben and I thought of an awesome podcast idea or episode idea while we were waiting for you, which is that Ben and I would sing, and you could too if you got up to speed. We could all sing. We should all do it. We should all sing In the Heights, completely without music, a cappella, from memory, from beginning to end, and just like plow through all the parts that we can't remember. We would just
that sounds like a Thanksgiving project if I've ever
just
heard
like
one.
click, and do all the musical bits by voice completely, just like
all.
from the
We should
beginning,
do that at Thanksgiving and assign everyone a different instrument.
from the beginning to the no, just like from memory, just when you're like,
you gotta
spitballing with somebody,
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's gotta just pull their own weight and jump in when they can.
and you jump in when you can,
You can't.
and just like collab, and then also remember all the song orders.
Yeah.
I think it could be
no
really
track
funny.
list.
Okay,
Cool.
that
Okay,
sounds fun.
my homework is to make a fucking sourdough starter, and
Just
Google
Google it.
Just Google it. Just look at it on your Google Cardboard or whatever with your little phone.
Look at the whale and the sourdough starter.
And my
both over there.
Twitter is at EarnBurn. It's a weird mix of political stuff and computer stuff. I haven't quite curated it perfectly. And like retweeting like really sassy like feminist tweets. And you can
good.
follow my lesbian movie reviews, which I haven't done one in a while, but I need to soon, and I watched one and I'm going to review it soon.
Good.
At lesbian movie reviews on Instagram.
I guess I never really have described what it's like to follow me on Twitter. It's mostly retweets.
They're good retweets, though.
Thank you. I'm mostly way too broad retweets right now, but
they're good. You got a good Twitter thing going.
oh, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that, actually. Okay, but if you want to talk to us as an ear snack, you can reach us in a few different ways. So we're on Twitter at 2broadpod, as in a pod of narwhals. We have an email, waytoobroad@gmail.com. We have a listener email.
Oh,
I forgot.
have fun. I only live for those. Of course you would forget them.
It's from my mom.
Did she really email you at the correct email address?
She really did.
Shout fucking out.
Shout
Finally.
fucking out. Yes. So this is a quick story. It's based off of our segment where we talked about misspeaks, which still makes me laugh so hard. The spread your legs thing.
Sorry.
Okay, so long ago when your father and I were much younger, that would be my father, we spent enough time doing home improvement and building projects together that polyurethane was a more commonplace part of my life than it is now. During this time, your father found it hilarious to always refer to polyurethane as polyurinate. I wasn't crazy about this, but it was an unending source of hilarity for him, and he mentioned it whenever he could. That does sound like our dad. Then, for some reason, we were visiting upstate New York, and lo and behold, something we were doing required the use of polyurethane. Well, we were in East Nowhere. When we finally locate a hardware store, it's a small one populated by older local gentlemen in overalls. I am designated to go in and ask if they have the product in stock. Imagine the shock when a young woman enters the store and blurts out a request for polyurinate. She said, I really couldn't believe I'd said it. I was so embarrassed, but did recover and get what I needed, then laughed all the way back to the car.
Nice. That was a good one. Thank you for the submission.
Yeah, so she told me to be careful because one day I'm going to go looking for dick washer detergent.
But you're not going to care.
No,
and you're
no,
also not gonna ask anybody.
Yeah, that's what she was saying though. If I was like, "Excuse me, do you know where the dick washer detergent is?"
I'd rather walk out of the store empty-handed than ask.
I guess that's also true.
Excuse me, Target employee, do you have any new shirts for a fresh style?
And they said no, and I left. Oh, and also, please, if you listen to this and you enjoyed it, leave us a rating and review. It really helps and is always nice to hear from people. And if anybody hasn't checked out the most recent review, it is very funny. Just for kind of, I would even say if you're not one of us three, you should still read it.
I have not checked it out and also
have not
can't
either.
find my phone.
Uh-oh.
Found it.
I bet it's around.
Found my little phone.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for everything, everybody.
Bye, narwhals.
Bye, narwhals.
Bum, 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 bum.